sometimes it makes it easier to see clearly. So again, if you squint at it and rather look at the light areas rather than the leaves. So you're outlining the light areas rather than worrying about Zephia's going to draw around each and every leaf she can see.
Oh God, I'm actually getting quite happy and impressed with myself for the
Absolutely.
effort. Hello.
Yay! Zephia.
Hi, Polly. Polly, it's actually really good to see you.
Likewise.
I love it when you tell me like, oh, you're in Lagos, and it's so funny because I was like, oh, I need to do DNA live with Polly. When next is she going to be around? And I was like, let me just message you now. You're like, I'm actually coming. Like, here's my timeline, and it's perfect.
Yeah, good to be here.
I know. This is Polly Alakija, who's a renowned artist in Nigeria, South Africa, and the UK. In fact, globally. She has over 35 years of experience in culture and arts education. Polly is known for her work, especially the one which is my favorite, the work that was commissioned under the Falmouth Bridge during the time of the Chibok girls. So this is Polly Alakija. She's also defined as a muralist. Today, we are having a day in a life. Welcome to the Star Network podcast, and my name is Zephia. Hi.
Awesome. Thank you. I mean, I so wish that muralist label was, when I was a teenager, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be the female version of Diego Rivera. So a lot of us know Frida Kahlo. She was an amazing lady. And her husband was Diego Rivera, who used his murals as part of the socialist revolution in Mexico. And I just knew I was going to be the female Diego Rivera. I know he was obnoxious and a misogynist, but as an artist and a muralist, he was just brilliant. But then I kind of got older and wiser, and I realized that actually you have to be a guy to be that person. And it's still a man's world, and I still don't think the world is ready for a female Diego Rivera. We're ready for the Frida Kahlo and his partner, but they're not ready for a woman to be in that position. But we're not ready yet.
It's so funny. So I don't really know the historical context, but what you just said about being a muralist, as you were speaking, I was like, but that, when I look at you, that is how I see Polly. Like, that's the work that you do. Why your work speaks volumes is that you go outside of just painting in a studio, you take your artwork to the public. And most importantly, like you said, your art is done for social good. That's how I see your art. Like, right? It's not just painting to be abstract or painting to be fun or trendy. There's nothing wrong with that. But because you're an art advocate, you look at the environment in which you're in. You love Nigeria. You've been here for over 36 years. I know, right? But I think it's so beautiful, Polly, that you're able to paint things in relation to what's going on in our country, which is why for me, the work on the Falmouth Bridge is incredible. And the deluge, we were just talking about that. Do you want to share more about it?
Oh, that was an interesting one. Well, we'll get to my passion about using art for social development, particularly around the climate and the environment. And one thing that's always been one of the headline challenges and problems is water inequity. So this thing of access to water, or then our floods and our droughts. And then at the time that I painted The Deluge, which was painted on a working passenger ferry, we'd had some massive floods in Lagos. And then looking at the stories behind the floods, a lot of it down to man-made interventions and measures, property development that hadn't been properly thought through. And then kind of married that with Yoruba culture, and it was really telling the story of the floods through Obatala and the creation of land. So that was the story on the passenger ferry, to really get people to understand that these issues are as old as time, that we talk about climate change and man-made climate change, but climate change is what happens all the time, and then we have to learn how to cope with it and mitigate it. And it's there embedded in Yoruba myth and mythology, and so that's what I painted on the passenger ferry. And yet there had been some disastrous floods in Lagos. I'm trying to think, this is over 10 years ago. So it's something that's still woven into my work back to basics, guys. These are stories as old as time, and is still happening. There's still so much work to do to advocate around that space. It's nothing new. Been there before.
Correct.
So,
and thank you for that context, and just even giving the audience further context about my water story, your initiative. So some people may know, but for those who don't know, you are also the co-founder of the 5 Cowries Initiative, which I absolutely love the idea on how you use art for advocacy and education.
Five Carriers Arts Education Initiative, kind of what it says on the can, education, educational outcomes, but around social issues. So we use the Sustainable Development Goals as our framework, and one of our key projects is My Story of Water.
Got it.
So see Five Carriers as the educational arm of my Art for Advocacy work.
Got it.
So I've got My Story of Water there, whereas my personal Art for Advocacy is that's where Broken Water Cycles comes in.
I find that interesting when I read about it. I know you had an exhibition. Was it last year that we had the exhibition? Was it this year?
It was already last year.
Was it last
crazy,
year? Wow,
isn't it?
time has really gone
I
by
know,
so quickly.
that was at the end of October, wasn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. So that was last year. And when you did that exhibition and you were putting up all your work, I found it interesting how you were using art to talk about water inequality. And when I did more research, about 2 billion people don't have access to clean water. When you look at Nigeria, I like to think of Lagos as an island, right? There's water everywhere. And so when you say people are still suffering from water inequality, I find that almost challenging to believe, but it's like there's water, but there's no clean water. And your art is essentially telling that story. You mentioned about how you looked at the flooding situation, you told the story through your artwork, but what made you decide that this was a pressing issue to advocate on through art?
Yeah, good one. Because, like you said, I moved to Nigeria in 1989, right? And ever since then, I've been involved in arts and education. And I remember I had moved from very precious West London to rural Oyo State, right? And working in communities, visiting schools, and there wasn't one school that we visited or did a program in that we didn't have to go equipped with kegs of water and bowls and soap for kids to wash their hands with. Because I always say you can't work if your hands are dirty, right? That was 35 years ago, 36 years ago. We still do the same thing to date. That was one thing. And one of the first things when I started working in schools that really shook me to the core was seeing kids. It's like, okay, kids, go outside, wash your hands, we're ready to work. And they'd go outside and grab a handful of sand and use that to wash their hands with. So literally use sand to scour off the dirt of their hands and then rinse that off with a tiny bit of water. And Zephia, that's a situation that I still find in some communities. You want your kids to wash their hands, and you would say with soap and water, soap element is such a luxury, so is the water. And that's the situation we have, not through any real neglect, but by sheer dint of our population just getting bigger and bigger. So we have a very finite amount of this precious fresh water resource. As the economy gets more prosperous, the demands are ever growing. So that's why from day one, it's been one of the key things on our shopping list for any program. We need to take water there. And then with my late husband as an aquaculturalist, building fish farms across the country, so I see firsthand the challenges we're having with managing our fresh water. And now with Five Carriers, we're doing a lot of programs in the northwest of the country. And once in a while, we'll do kind of some survey on what is the situation, what are the resources that these communities have. And the situation's quite frankly getting worse and worse. Whereas, going back 10, 15 years, let's say just 10 years ago, I was telling stories about how, goodness me, can you imagine, all these kids, their daily water needs and usage is what they can collect in one keg. And you'd have these little kids, and for us it was an exercise in weights and measures. You've got your 25 keg of water, and that's what you've got every day. Can you imagine? Yeah. Compare that with children in the West, 250 litres of water a day. But Zephia, now that figure, that 25 litres of water a day, on average now, across Nigeria, the average daily access to fresh water is 9 litres of water a day. So it's gone from 25 to 9 litres in just 10 years. So plot out that graph and where that's going to, and marry that with our population explosion. Where's that taking us to? Oh, we've got to talk about this, right? And so I feel like you pointed out, you're in Lagos, you think there's water everywhere. We have flash floods. That's fresh water, right? Yeah. So it's not that there isn't water. It's just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time. So then you have to put in measures to manage it and mitigate, and that's where the investment needs to come in. So, that's why we tell these stories, advocate. So okay, guys, these are the issues. What can we do to mitigate and change the situation? We've got to manage it.
And I'm sure
somehow.
Even the extraction of it, like what you said, what you're saying, from going from 25 to 9, litres my mind, and it's like you said, the population is ever evolving, it's growing. So what's going to happen? People will just not have access to water. But Polly, you're such an educationalist. And I think for the very first time, we have conversation, but sitting down and just hearing you, it's like, you've gone as far as, I'm going to do the research, right? I'm going to go into these communities. And I think that's why your work truly speaks for itself. Like, your work is advocacy in itself. Like, even when I look at your paintings, I'm like, this is showing inequality. This is showing that there is a need here. And I like that beyond even you doing the drawings and the paintings, you speak about it. This is going to be such an insightful thing for people. So people who even want to volunteer and follow Polly to like one of the communities to figure things out, because there should be initiatives where, and I'm sure there are, but maybe it's not being talked about enough, or enough cross collaboration, where you can extract, you dig into the ground and put like your boreholes, etc., and do the extraction of water and educate people. I don't know, I'm not really hearing those stories anymore.
It is happening, and there's some incredible champions out there.
Amazing.
But, the territory here, the terrain is hard, right? And so we really need to rally the troops, come together. Who's doing what? How can we coordinate this? And link it to policy, link it to investment. Correct. The challenge is so massive, we can't just keep bailing out the water from the boat, right? We've got to literally think holistically and broad, and I believe also think across borders. It's got to be transboundary, because climate change is regional, right? We can't just talk about what's happening in our own community. It's regional. Those storm clouds don't know any borders. And you're absolutely right. For me, with my own artwork and, storytelling through pictures, number one, I do love a challenge. I love sitting here in front of Oluwamodu's work because it's round and it's on this crazy piece of wood. That's the kind of thing that excites me. Give me a sort of rectangular canvas. It's like, right, what do I do with this? I need an edge and a challenge to what I'm working on and the story I'm telling, and knowing that I have an audience that's not your regular gallery-going audience to my work means a lot to me. Yes. And when I have an audience that probably never really had exposure to artwork, be able to look at my work, for me, is that, okay, now I'm on the right track.
Yes, correct.
So, that excites me. Yes. And then to actually then take it one stage further, really embed yourself in the community and get those stories and weave that into what you're doing as well.
It's so important.
And this whole thing, I have one particular mentor who says that, Polly, sometimes I get overwhelmed by everything. Actually reached out to a friend this morning, says, I need some help. How do I cope with all these different moving parts? And this one mentor said to me, at the beginning of this year, I was in South Africa, kind of mapping out the year, and it's like just literally from this space of calm and tranquility, my map was just going crazy. And you say, no, just breathe, relax. Everything is simple. It's a 3-stage process. Number one, you listen. Number two, you understand, and then you do. And if you break your challenges down into that, it becomes clearer. But Zephia, the thing that stuns me is how bad we are at listening. It seems like such a simple thing, but when you start to listen and hear, then it starts to make sense, and you can see the pathway forward. And so at the moment, I like to think that Five Carries is good at listening. At the moment, we're kind of being quite focused on a listening process. And as you know, our work in the North is possible thanks to the women in the communities where we're working. But now we've really started being more purposeful in how we listen to them. And the response we get is amazing. And the women are so grateful to just
that
be
people
heard.
even want to speak to them and hear that
to be
problems.
Heard. It's like we're opening a floodgate because they've got so much to say. And when you hear what they say, then some of the solutions seem kind of fairly obvious.
Exactly. And I like that because it's very easy to think you understand a problem just by looking at it. But when you go further into that research to then speak to the people who are living in that experience, you find that what you can see is completely different from the co-experience. We mentioned I could see water, and I think, the man down there would have access. But if he's living in that environment, he's like, there's water, but there's so much pollution in the water.
Absolutely.
So therefore we cannot even fish, right? So it's affecting me as a fish farmer, or it's affecting me to get food or clean water for my children. So the ability to just embed your work into community, I think is so incredible, right? I think it's something that people will just learn from. But I feel like people see your work and they love your work. But I think it's good to know more about you on a personal level, right? Why Nigeria? Right? Why Nigeria? Tell us about that. And we're going to draw, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited to draw.
I'm going to get
I'm
drawing
terrible
today.
about drawing. In school, I was like, I failed in drawing.
Don't worry.
It'll be fine. Okay,
Everybody
good.
can draw.
Why Nigeria?
Well, my late husband brought me here. And so, yeah, we started dating quite young. Bit of a confession, I used to date his best friend.
What?
And then,
to be fair, it's not ahead of nothing
Well,
under the sun is new.
It's how it happens. If you want to know where your girlfriend's
Oh
gone to,
my
you look at
God.
your best friend, right? But when I split up with that guy, he said, you only want to split up with me because you've got your eyes on Adelaide. And I thought, well, actually, that's a good point. So I took a closer look at this guy. And so we started dating. And honestly, yeah, he was the loveliest guy I had met. And I came out to visit Nigeria kind of on a holiday in 1986. I saw this crazy country. I was like, what is this all about? But I had a load of fun. We literally, I landed in Lagos. We got a car, had a car. We drove the country, not a care in the world. It was a completely different country then.
And this was Lagos?
We drove from Lagos to
Jos?
Ibadan, to Jos. We went to Zaria. We went to Yankari, we drove up to Maiduguri, we drove into Niger by accident.
No issues, no security issues.
None at all.
Good roads.
Stunning roads. And literally...
That makes me a bit sad.
Yeah. Unimaginable.
Yeah.
And so then, he asked me to move out here with him, and he pleaded and pleaded and pleaded. And I remembered thinking, guys don't normally do this, right? Yeah, that this is unusual. This is somebody who's a bit special. So, that's why. And he was passionate about Nigeria. He loved the natural environment. I mean, I've got his letters somewhere. From when he was trying to persuade me to move back. And his letters, he would talk about the rivers of Nigeria and his visits to all these locations and the fish he had found in these locations. Completely passionate about Nigeria and the waterways of Nigeria. And so, I came out here and married him. And his passion was aquaculture. And, that was his way. For him, he was on a mission to get affordable protein to Nigeria, and he did that through his passion for water and fish. So so I cut my teeth with him in Oyo State, and so that's why Nigeria. Then of course got 4 children or young adults now. Their home is and was Nigeria. So if you talk to them now, they're very clear where home is, and it's Nigeria. So I'm the mom. So so it's Nigeria, right? Nigeria, don't have much choice in it. I mean, of course, Nigeria is not easy. So my friends laugh at me because they always say, "We're not going to do another leaving party for you, Polly." It's like, oh, I've had enough. I can't cope with this.
But you always come back. You always come back.
We'll do the leaving party, but we know you'll be back. So so here I am. It is Nigeria. I think now, having spent so much time here, I kind of feel that's kind of quite a unique asset. You don't let go of that. And then what can you do with that?
Oh, Polly, that's beautiful. And thank you for that transparency and sharing that. And I love love. And I love that love actually brought you here. And sometimes, as humans, we kind of underestimate till later how destiny is formed by just meeting someone. And for you, it was clear, your destiny was this country. Polly was going to be someone who would do social good for Nigeria. Polly was going to be someone that would change the art space and start a movement, essentially.
Fantastic.
No, it is. And welcome. And
thank you.
I'm glad that this is your home.
Note, I think that's why we get on, is because I know your commitment to this country as well. You've been very clear about that.
I feel like
it's Nigeria or nothing.
It's Nigeria or nothing. Correct, you're right. Correct. And I feel like that's why when I have these conversations with you or people, very similar minds, I'm passionate. But sometimes I wonder, the word is not even I get discouraged. Sometimes I'm like, am I doing enough? And I don't know whether you feel this way. I mean, it's different. But you have way more accomplishments. But most times I kind of feel like, what am I actually being impactful? Yes.
I know. It's so hard, isn't it, when the problems seem so enormous, and what can I do? But I do feel that you can't let that self-doubt stop you, because I kind of feel if you have unique access or a unique privilege and also, let's face it, at this age when, I've been so blessed. I've had a wonderful life so far. It's been very colourful, it's been very rich, had a beautiful marriage, got 4 incredible, 3 brilliant daughters and an amazing son. I mean, like, so come on, what more do I want from life? Like, I've had everything I need from it. So now, okay, now what am I going to do with the assets that I have, my unique assets? And if I can be that face in the room that can say that thing and shift that dial, then you can't walk away from that, right?
Yeah,
you're kind of somewhat duty bound to do it.
Yeah.
Right? You can't walk away. Or if you walk away, you know you're not going to sleep that night.
No,
so you better say it and do it.
You're absolutely correct. And I think we kind of like don't appreciate the effort we put in. And even just hearing you say that, it's like, but Zeph, it's like, even just having this conversation and getting Polly to tell her story is impacting itself because it's giving people awareness, and even people who probably want to support your work or collaborate, this is an opportunity.
When I'm in Lagos, I do like to spend time here because you can see it's an incredibly tranquil place. We're surrounded by beautiful art. And so it's really a good place to kind of just breathe and center yourself. And as you can see, when I'm in Lagos, it's really easy to say to people, we need to meet, but do you mind coming here for a meeting? And everybody's like, oh, delighted to come and meet you here. So I don't need to cope with the traffic. So this little idyll of tranquility is one of the few places in Lagos where you can just look over the water and it feels very calm. And I think this is a world we're losing in Lagos, right?
I know, Polly, you saying this is just, when I was walking in, I was like, this is just so beautiful. And it made me so happy. And I feel like this environment is the type of Lagos that the world needs to see.
I know, right?
And I 100% align with you when you say we're losing that essence. So for instance, like, yes, our population is growing. People are building more buildings. I understand why, due to population. But it's like, I wonder how they build without consideration of like third space. And I say third space just being things like green, the water, just having spaces where nature can be. And I find that because culturally, as Africans and Nigerians, I don't really think we take into consideration why a third space like having a garden or being close to the water is critical for like mental health. It's just not part of our culture. Like those things are not factored in. So when people are building, they're building to reach population size as opposed to the longevity and the beauty and preservation of like natural things. Yeah, it's horrible.
And I think it's short-sighted because at the end of the day, if you want to develop the economy of a city, right, you better look out for your middle class, right? Because they're the ones who are going to be paying the most taxes. And what do middle-class people want? They want places that are good to hang out in. So if there's no place for them to hang out in, they're going to go move to the place where there is. So back to drawing. You said earlier, I'm no good at drawing. That's complete rubbish. Everybody can draw.
Pauline, I'm really bad.
I want you to understand that really drawing is, the last thing you need to do is worry about the outcome. Right? Okay. Yeah? Or the output, what you end up with. It's about the process. Okay. Yeah? When I'm teaching people to draw, what we do a lot of is putting a timer on. And what we do a lot of is drawing under a bit of pressure. Okay. Right? You just don't need to worry about what it looks like at the end of the day. So, okay, I better get this job done. So with 5 Carries, with our children's programs, we talk a lot about the 5-minute daily doodle. Yeah. Okay. And I talk to people, this is your daily yoga session.
I like that.
So like when we're working with teachers in classroom, I don't care whether you're a maths teacher, English teacher, science teacher, whatever. Start your lesson, start your day with a 5-minute doodle on whatever subject. The 5-minute daily doodle can be on whatever you want to talk about, but it just engages that other side of your brain. Your brain has got to think, right? And we do a lot of then challenges through this 5-minute daily doodle. Maybe you're drawing with your uncommon hand. Maybe you're drawing with 2 hands. You're, stuff like that.
That
like you're drawing something upside
your brain,
down.
Doesn't it?
Exactly. You're going to draw something upside down. You're going to draw and not take your pencil off the paper for 5 minutes. So you've got to draw picture of these people filming us in 5 minutes, and you're not going to take your pencil off the paper. Switches on that side of the brain. And it doesn't need to be big. So I know you know my work as being always large, but actually that's yoga for the brain can happen on a small scale, right? So I've got something for you here.
That. I think there's a podcast that talks about how like being creative, I think it's Huberman Labs, but it's what you just described is like neuroplasticity, where it's like your brain expands. And it's so funny, I would never think to doodle. Like in school, yes, because you're listening and you're like, oh, I'm a bit tired, and you doodle. But now I think I'm going to like try incorporating what you just said and see what it does like in a week.
Exactly. Yeah. So here you go. You're going to start with this. Oh, God. This present for you.
Thank you.
Daily doodle book.
I love this.
I live with those. Those are brilliant because they fit in your handbag. So, but I've got here for myself, because we're going to be drawing together. This is a new sketchbook I bought myself. And now I love this sketchbook because, like I just said, my work tends to be big, right? But, you know, big things don't fit in a handbag. But then I always run out of space.
Yeah.
And then I found this brilliant sketchbook. And it's like, whoever's made this sketchbook now understand brains like mine that we just can't fit in a little page. Like, oh, it's expanded. So we've got this expanded
sketchbook. Oh my God, Polly, this is incredible.
So this is them drawing, but then it's Ramadan, right? So then we give them rest times, and so then this is them sleeping during their rest time.
Oh my God.
So then this morning, this is what happens in Lagos. I went out there.
You went outside.
This isn't quite finished.
No, but this is incredible. What time did you do this, and how long did it take you?
This was my morning cup of tea this morning. So you can see I need to work on it a bit. But I've got so many drawings of this garden because whenever I come here,
guys,
got to
this is
draw
so
the
beautiful.
garden.
Polly said she did this over coffee, drawing outside. This actually captures like the landscape. This is just incredible.
Blue Peter is
a
children's
you mentioned Blue Peter in New York. I was like, the actress.
No, Blue Peter, the children's program in UK, which combines being creative with current affairs and all sorts of things.
Not Bluey. There's Bluey.
No, Blue Peter.
Okay,
you're far too young.
I don't know Blue Peter.
There's a whole generation of us that grew up Blue Peter, but it's live TV. So at the moment, there's a bit of a conversation. You're going to edit this out. Bit of a conversation because they want to not make it live. It's like, no, Blue Peter. The whole point is that you make it live.
Interaction,
And so actually that leads back to kind of the drawing thing, and you saying that you're no good at drawing. So the whole point about art, the best art has got human flaws in it. So a lot of people talk about, with AI we're not going to need artists anymore. Now, when you listen to art historians and art critics, the thing they always focus on is the human within a piece of work, right? And where do you see the human? It's in the flaws and the imperfections. Yeah, that's where the artist gives themselves away.
Got it.
And it's also like the person viewing, it's ambiguous. So you're never really going to know what's behind the flaw, but you know there's a something there, which is why art historians and art critics, I mean, they've got jobs for life because they'll never get right into it. So that's why don't ever worry about the flaws in your work.
Okay.
Because that's where Zephia's giving herself away. Right? So it's got to be there. If Zephia now draws a perfect picture, it's not going to be interesting. Yeah? The interesting bit is when it's a little bit flawed and it's a little bit human. Before you start, just see what it feels like. Just do a little
thing.
A bit like, you're turning your car on.
Okay, I'm going to start with my name.
So we're going to draw this amazing sculpture in front of us, right? Take your mind off how beautiful it is. Think about it, how this thing works as a shape. When I'm drawing people, and this is a figure of a person or a tree, it's strong. It has a central core strength, right? So in a tree, it's a tree trunk. In a person, it's the spine. Yeah, and imagine now from the top of this head down through the neck, the spine, and down into the leg. That's the strength of this thing. So you're going to start your picture, and we're going to do this really quickly. You just kind of, just position where the head is on your page and just draw that line. You're not going to worry about what it looks like outwardly. It's the head, the line coming down.
I'm drawing the spine.
Yeah, and you just follow the spine around, so the bum and the leg going down, right? And then you've got the other leg coming up. Boom. And then you've got the essence of the thing there already. Yeah, you've got it.
What? Polly, I've done absolutely nonsense.
So I'm going to very quickly do mine again. I got the head.
Just gonna copy you.
And then the spine coming down.
Oh, God, this is so difficult.
No, you're doing fine. And you've got the other leg going up, and then it's folded down.
Polly, I feel like you're just encouraging no matter what. But this is so awful.
You got it.
Even my 7-year-old niece would do better than this.
Shush.
What's the benefit of me drawing with a hand that I'm not?
It's just going to relax you completely.
Me. Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
Because we know it's going to be ridiculous.
Okay.
Let's just
do it.
But you don't take your eye off this.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you're doing a drawing with 2 pencils, there's different ways of doing it. You can do a mirror,
Okay.
Yes, imagine it's a heart, you're doing two sides of the heart.
Yes.
Or you can do it going in the same direction.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's different ways of drawing with two hands.
Okay.
So I'm going to, what am I going to do?
Should I copy you?
No, you're going to draw that. Yes, I can copy you.
I want to copy you.
Go to the back of the class,
Okay,
girl.
fine.
So I'm going to do two. I'm going to draw it, but with both hands. So I'm going to start again.
Okay.
So see how I start off. I'm going to
Okay.
start with the head. We're going to then go down the neck.
Okay.
Yeah? And you get so penciled. So the shoulder and then the back coming round.
Okay.
Yeah?
So it's two drawings.
I'm doing two drawings
Okay.
at once.
Okay, I can start.
And again, no more than a couple of minutes.
Oh God, I can feel my
know,
brain
right?
expanding. Like
Yeah, there you go.
when I have children, I'm gonna give them this exercise to like focus. I really, really. Did you read about this, Polly? Like, did you read that this type of activity was a way to distress, or was it just something you came across by
I don't
working?
know how I came across this. I mean, it's a practice. It's an activity that a lot of artists do. I mean, I used to do it with kids. So if you have a classroom of kids, and there's always one wise kid who knows it all and distracts everybody.
Yes.
Well, you get them to do this, it will keep them quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to start looking very stupid if they play around and they're doing something like this. So, yeah.
Okay. I think I'm making progress. I'm surprised at myself that my left hand can actually draw.
You see?
Yeah. You know what's interesting? My husband actually told me when he first met me, he thought I was left-handed. I didn't understand that. He was like, "You're left-handed." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Yeah, that I tend to do more things with my left."
Interesting.
So maybe, you know how it's like you're corrected as a child.
Yeah,
what if that happened?
You were probably left-handed as a child.
That's so interesting. Okay. Well, Polly, you're done. I don't like this. I think I'm done.
You've done it, right?
This is so horrible.
You've so done it. No, it's perfect. We're done.
We're done. Okay, so let's go.
That's drawing lesson number one.
Okay.
So what we've done just now, we're going to, same principle with the tree and with the person, is what's rooted it to the ground, and it's through the trunk or through the spine.
Perfect.
So, same thing. Squint at it, right? So blur it. If you've got really bad eyesight, sometimes it makes it easier to see clearly. So again, if you squint at it, and rather look at the light areas rather than the leaves. So you're outlining the light areas rather than worrying about Zephia's going to draw around each and every leaf she can see.
Oh God, I'm actually getting quite happy and impressed with myself for the
Absolutely,
effort.
you're brilliant. You were born to do this.
I wonder how I'm going to gift this to my little niece.
So if you ever see me out and about in public and you see me doing weird things with my eyes, I'm
Now I know.
squinting at things,
Now I know.
trying to see them clearly. Normally people ask me, is there something wrong with you? Your
And you're
eyes
like,
okay,
no.
isn't it?
This is so peaceful. I feel like I even have confidence to extend to the second tree.
Okay, how are you getting on?
Yeah, I think I'm doing quite well.
And then one last thing we're going to talk about is shading, right?
Okay.
So we've just been really doing lines. So again, just squint at this
Okay.
and you can see very quickly what's dark and what's lighter. And then this is where the Zephia signature will really come in. I would just, how often in Lagos do you hear that? The breeze and the trees.
You hardly get it. I feel like this is just like prime land, like the development. There's just so much natural space.
You see?
Yeah, am I doing it?
Yeah,
Polly, let me
she's
see
doing
yours.
good.
Oh my God, this is incredible. I can't believe you literally just did this from sitting
No,
here like
come
this.
on.
You're
Just a little
mine. Oh my
doodle.
God. You actually like drew the tree.
I did.
Yeah,
Well, so
but
did
like,
you.
no, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
These
And
are like
you did the tree
tentacles.
next
Like, I don't know
door.
what, these
You
are like
did the
chicken
tree next-
fingers.
Good. We're done. Drawing
Thank
lesson
you.
number one.
I'm happy. I feel like this is the best drawing I've done. I'm not actually
There
not
you go.
joking. Like, this is nice. This
It's
actually,
great.
yeah, I feel very centered. And now I feel like I can have a bit more confidence to like draw things like abstractly.
So you're going to have to do this every day.
5 minutes,
Give
right?
yourself 5 minutes. Try and just find something really simple to look at.
Polly, this is beautiful and
yeah.
very peaceful. I don't think I even imagined when I said we'll do day in a life, this has definitely been very much peaceful and very grounding. And there's a lot to learn here, right? Like beyond just your story, but even this has moved into how to stay centered. Life has a way of just exhausting people, making them feel stressed.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I think people think they need to find other types of activities, so whether it's the gym or like take a Pilates class, and that's nice. But it's sometimes as simple as just picking up a pen and paper and drawing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This is gold. So guys, you've heard from Polly Alakija on everything to do with art education, her great work. She is a muralist, and if you haven't seen any of her work, I don't know where you live. But yeah, to follow up with Polly and all the incredible things she's doing, to collaborate or to volunteer, you can follow her on her social media handles. Polly, what's your social media handle?
Polly Alakija.
Brilliant, Polly Alakija. So guys, that's it for now, and until next time, bye.